Today I have the pleasure of sitting with Sally Tyndall. Sally has a fascinating story and I can't wait to share it with you. Sally, hi. Welcome to Barre Talk.
Thank you. Thanks
I
for
love
having
that
me.
you call me Miss Di.
It's the rules of ballet.
You don't have to.
We sort of do.
No, we're grown-ups. We're grown-ups. We can...
Don't let anyone know.
You don't have to do Miss Di, but thank you.
All my teachers are Miss Bell, Miss Kate, Miss Di, Miss Karen, Miss Megan. It's a rule.
I think you're the only student who does.
Oh, bugger.
Okay. How long have you been doing ballet?
There was a gap in between when I had my son, but I started in 2009 with you.
2009?
I was never allowed to do ballet as a kid. I grew up on a racetrack from a motor racing family, and that was great. That turned me into the person that I am today. So there's no judgment there, but
turned you into the person you are today. What do you think? What have you gained from?
Well, I'm a very mechanical person. I like engineering. I like how things work. I like pulling things apart and putting them back together again. So that was a great upbringing, and certainly when you're racing and you put a helmet on, there was no gender issues. You don't know. So my brothers, when they were racing, didn't care less if they were racing against guys or girls. So for me, I grew up absolutely having no gender stereo bias at all.
And no ballet.
And very much no ballet.
But as a child, did you have an awareness of ballet being something that you might be interested in pursuing?
I believed it was something that girls did, and at the time I very much wasn't one of those. So I was very much one of the boys. So it wasn't until I was 30 that I discovered this adult ballet business and thought, let's give that a crack.
How did you come across it?
I Googled you.
Google stalking, love it. And so starting ballet as an adult?
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Well, I just think that you know who you are as an adult, and so a lot of I don't know, but the stories that I've heard from the competitiveness, the cattiness, the theatre mums, you don't have that. We're grown-ups, we're just here to learn, and you know, as you articulate to us, you can wear whatever you want to wear. You know, there's no uniform.
And all of that that competitiveness and dare I say the bitchiness, there's no need for it.
It takes away from the joy.
In fact, it would be quite ridiculous.
Yep.
If it occurred.
Yes.
And I know that people who still want to have that competitive edge to what they do, if they happen to wander in here, they work out that it's not their environment.
You can be competitive with yourself. You can challenge yourself to do better each week, but certainly taking the stigma of dance that I'd heard about out of the equation. And of course, it's such a leveller when you put grown-ups, men and women, in a room,
isn't it,
in active wear and have us jump in front of one another, that all secrets are well and truly removed. So, you know, it's I got over myself very quickly and loved it.
It was so what was it that you loved? Because I have a very strong feeling with you that something about ballet, and certainly starting it as an adult, just resonated and it grabbed you.
It's
somehow.
the discipline.
Because
I'm from quite a litigious, regimented world in my occupation, and there are the rules and you follow the rules, and there's no scope for operating outside of the rules. So the concept that you stand and your head goes here, and there is no grey area. That's when your arms are here, your head is here. Yeah. I loved that, and I'd tried yoga, Pilates, team sports, good grief. And I was still preparing the rest of my week in my mind. I was still going, well, I'm going to get home and I'm going to pack because I'll be away for 2 days, so I'll put these meals aside. But in ballet, you have no spare brain capacity to do anything.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's so wonderful.
Okay, let's go directly into the fun stuff. I happen to know what you do, and it fascinates me no end. But I'd love you to tell your story.
Okay, so I've started. So I grew up on a racetrack, and flying was the only thing I could think of that was faster. I'm from a very competitive family.
So it's speed.
It's speed. So when my brothers were racing, there were some aeroplanes that would always fly overhead. And I started flying when I was 14. And
14?
14.
Flying what?
Aeroplanes.
Well, yes, but what type and how, if you were
Piper
14?
Warrior Juliet India Oscar was my first flight, and its engine was 350 horsepower, and the engines that my brothers were driving at the time were 300 horsepower. So on my very first flight, I beat them, which was great. And that was a bug that I got. There was no going back. So my family were very supportive and would always offer, everything was in relation to a flying lesson. So I had the opportunity to do my debutante ball or do 4 flying lessons. That was a no-brainer. I was going to do my flying lesson. So there was always that. So if I helped out at the track, I got a flying lesson. So I flew once every 4 weeks for all through my high school. Wow. But that's all I wanted to do.
Today, you work as a commercial pilot.
Yes.
What was the journey from wandering into university to becoming a commercial pilot?
I went to university and did a science degree, and as soon as a flight school course became available, I deferred that and went to flight school.
Yeah.
When I finished that, I was taken on as an instructor to get some of my hours up, but I loved instructing, so I stayed and did that for 5 years. Then went and did night freight. That was interesting because you don't have passengers to deal with when you're flying freight. And the next job was probably the one that everyone seems to like. I got picked up by a fabulous company called ExecuJet. Their primary job is to deliver brand new Learjets to people, including celebrities. So I got to do Pink's concert tour for 6 weeks, Beyonce's concert tour.
Wow.
Lots of really, really fabulous people. It's a single person's job, that one, because you're always on call. But the Learjet was a fabulous machine. But by then I'd met my husband and really should have thought about growing up. And so I've been at Virgin ever since. I've been 11 years at Virgin.
All at Virgin?
All at Virgin.
There you go.
And they're just fabulous. Very supportive and encouraging, and all colours of the rainbow, and they really don't care. Tall, short, fat, thin, gay, straight, just come to work, do your job and have a fabulous time. And so I really can relate to their values and enjoy my work with them.
Fantastic. You now have a family.
Yes.
It's you, your husband and...
Ayrton, my 5-year-old, as of last weekend.
Ah, lovely. How do you balance the demands of the roster system with your family?
We juggle because my husband's a shift worker as well.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think dads get enough credit, to be honest. I think a lot of the time kids need to go camping in the front yard with dad eating nothing but Doritos in their jocks. Like, that's just something, wouldn't everyone want to do that? So yeah, we get the rosters, both of ours, and we compare them and we both see what we can do. And then, like all parents, you have to ask for help. You have to say, I cannot achieve this, and we ask for help.
Yeah, fabulous. Does Ayrton understand what you do?
Yes.
Does he love that?
He said at Kinder last week for a careers day, he said, yeah, she still can't cook. So they're very grounding kids, aren't they? I think no, my best experience was arriving in Hong Kong to find that all my undergarments had been removed from my suitcase and filled with Matchbox cars. So, what do you do?
Heard a rumour.
A rumour.
Yes, but considering the rumour came from
Me?
you, I think the source is relatively good.
I don't know even.
That you might spend some of your piloting time in creative endeavours.
So you're referring to my Photoshop escapades where I design ballet meme t-shirts for my favourite teachers.
That's exactly what I'm referring to.
Yes.
And my question, Sally, is when you are doing this, who's flying the plane?
The others.
Right. Good. I'm glad there are others.
There are others. So on the international flights, they're so long we have to have 3 pilots. And we can't possibly all be sitting up there gripping the controls, staring out the window for 10, 11 hours. So we have crew rest. And so when I go back to crew rest, particularly if it's a day flight, I'm really not...
Resting?
Well, I'm not resting, but I'm not interested in watching movies or anything like that because I'm still quite...
How long is the crew rest?
2.5 hours.
Okay.
So I'm still quite switched on to my work. So I'm not going to put earphones on and watch a movie because I'm sort of still very conscious of where I am and what my role is. So I do some work on the computer, and for me, I can still hear what's going on by just editing photographs or designing cheeky memes to put on t-shirts.
To put on t-shirts for Kate and myself. Yes, I do love it. Thank you very much. So one thing I am quite curious about, your industry, am I correct in thinking that it has essentially been a male-dominated industry for a very long time?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that you've had to fight for your place?
Yes, not from me personally, because I think of how I grew up. If a tree needed chopping, there's the chainsaw. Dad would go chop it. It was never an issue for me growing up. As I got more advanced in my career, more in towards the airlines or delivering jets to people, I would always have it pointed out to me, "Oh, you're a woman." And I'd go, "Oh, when did that happen?" Like, certainly the issue in the media of the gender pay gap and things, I've never had any of that. The job was pilot, you got this amount. It never specified, so there was never a difference. So I just didn't notice it until people started pointing it out to me. And so,
do the passengers ever make any comments?
Yes. Best one I've had was a elderly gentleman, I'd say is older than 90, came up to me at the end of the flight. We're sort of required to stand at the door and say, "Thank you very much," and
"Thank you for flying with us."
Thank you. And he came up to me and he said, "Aha, I think it's wonderful that they let the well-behaved flight attendants do a takeoff and landing every now and again." I said, "Me too, sir." Because who am I? He's been thinking about that, right? The whole flight going, "What's she doing up there? Is it her birthday?" And I'm like, "What? Yeah, me too, sir." I'm not going to correct that.
That was kind.
That was kind.
And bless him.
Yeah, that's the better version of There's always the schmuck, but I'd much rather remember the 90-year-old who thinks I'm a well-behaved flight attendant.
Yeah, absolutely. Challenges in your job?
Yep.
I'm sure you have one or two.
Yeah, I think I'm a glass half full person, but once you've missed 6 family weddings, once you've not made your kid's birthday, it's hard. Yeah. But then on the flip side, going back to work as a mum, and you can press the call bell and someone brings you a cup of tea. Whew, wow. You get an overnight in a hotel where you get the bed to yourself. So I'm a glass half
control.
Yes, a glass of wine. I'm a glass half full person, and I would never do anything in life if I wasn't getting joy from it. And that's certainly how I'm raising my son, is just do what you love, because there is no point working a third of your life doing something that makes you miserable.
How do you manage your mental health? What sort of things would you do to support your mental health?
People say you can't choose your family, and I say you can. My crew are my family, and we have a pre-flight briefing where we all come together and we all talk and we all make sure everyone is fit to do the trip. And
I so understand that. My team and my family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's something a little bit mommy about making sure that your kids are all together, and then at the end of the trip you're going to make sure that everyone's not fatigued, because we do a lot of flights through the night, and everyone's okay to get home. So for doing that, it just keeps you, I think keeping mentally busy is good for mental health, but also your job can't be your life. You have to have something for yourself. And we can live vicariously through our children, but that's still not doing something for yourself. And
so what is your thing for yourself?
Ballet.
Yes.
And my leotard collection.
Your leotard collection is somewhat extensive.
Somewhat.
When did this passion, when you started ballet, did you immediately identify with that sense of wanting to look like a dancer straight away?
No,
so when did it happen? How did it evolve?
I had a dreadful experience when I first started ballet, because I went into a undisclosed dance store and got the I don't think we have anything for you. So I got the one leotard that they had in my size, and I had that for my sort of first 2 or 3.
Yeah,
and so then another dance institution came along in more sizes, and of course you always articulate that you don't even have to wear a leotard, so it was active wear for a while. But then I travel a lot, so I found in America there is plus size clothing out the wazoo for activewear, for dance, for cheer, for ballroom. So once I found something that I was comfortable in, I danced so much better because I wasn't fidgeting anymore and I wasn't looking at myself in the mirror going, oh goodness, it fitted properly. So then all I was there worrying about was the dancing. Well, you might not know about this because the Thursday night EL5 class, we've started a new tradition.
Oh no.
No, it's not.
It's okay, I'm bracing myself, go on.
Miss Kate knows about this. If you have a new leotard and you show up to class in your new leotard, you must walk the floor in front of the whole class and we clap.
That's hilarious. That's kind of lovely.
So we celebrate people, we start a new term or we go up a level, and most of us, we either get new shoes or and everyone walks the floor and we clap, and it's our Thursday night tradition.
Sally, if you could pick your favourite part of a ballet class, what would it be? You shouldn't have to think that hard.
No, because it's all great. I actually miss the earlier classes where we used to have the choreography at the end, and so you'd have the last class of term and it's the big performance, and sometimes our teacher would video it for you, and so I favourite part of class is the performance at the end. So to have this choreography and then to have your teacher with pride be your audience, and you finally get to do something, and of course it's not videoed, it's not being photographed, so you never know what you look like, and so in your mind it's amazing. I loved that.
Great. Favourite step?
Love pas de barre.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
There are so many pas de barre. I'm going to let's assume that it is just a pas de barre under.
No, we're now into all facets of. So I like how it can turn. It can go in a straight line. It can go forwards. No, it's the physics of that is great because it's in all facets of dance. So
now I can't imagine that you would have a hated step, but is there a step that, let's just say, if you just didn't have to do it again, it wouldn't bother you?
No.
Not one?
No, there is a misconception amongst our old class that frappes weren't our favourite thing, but no, I like them now that I'm no longer stubbing my toe.
Tell me something that's on your bucket list.
Oh, I'm doing it hopefully in October.
This year?
Yes. I'm having a crack at climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Are you really?
Yeah. And it was actually one of your staff members, I'm going to call her out, Miss Bell, who fixed my knee. So I was doing all this training.
She's very talented.
She's amazing. You're all amazing. Love you all. But Miss Bell's amazing. So I showed up after doing all this training for the day, and I was doing a makeup class, and of course, the teachers always say, "And how are you going? Is there anything we need to know about?" And I said, "Oh, I've got this pain up my knee. I've been hiking the last few days." And we're out the front, and she said, "Oh, just do a fondue on one leg for me." And I did what I thought was what I was being asked. And she said, "Nope, not switching your bum on. Do it again, stand up," and did the class. But I had it in the back of my mind during that week that I'll train and really try and activate the glutes and work the muscles properly. And the next week I came back to class and said, "My knee pain's gone." Just a fabulous technician to look at the human body and the way it should be moving. But when you come to a class with an injury and you still want to dance and you explain it to your teachers and they can figure out a way to work around it, that's amazing. That is something more than just being a dance teacher. That is an exquisite knowledge of the human body. And so I literally do not have the knee pain now because I wasn't using...
And you're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
And I'm going to use my ballet training to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Is brilliant.
Yeah.
Why do you think there is such a growing interest in adult ballet?
Because I just think adults have overdone it. We've just gone too far in one direction. Work, family, hover parenting, and we've just forgotten that it's mind, body, spirit, and you have to do something for yourself. And it's not a soft sport. It's not a girly sport. It's every muscle. It uses the brain as a muscle. And particularly, the number of men that are joining ballet it's the whole workout. It's not just your body. It's the breathing. It's the mind. It's switching off. And so you come away from it and everything's had a workout. And also it's a bit of fake it till you make it as well, because the simple act of standing at the bar and putting your shoulders back and you do it when you teach and you say, and look beautiful, and you go, oh, okay. And then you leave feeling like you were great at something. And how many of us at the end of every single day say, I was great at something today.
That's fabulous.
It's everything.
Oh, that just makes my heart sing. I would like you to tell me something about you that people perhaps would have no idea you might do, be involved in.
Well, I come across as quite jovial and playful, so I guess my work and my hobbies are quite serious and research-based, and some people like exercise. I clearly do not. So I study as my hobby, and so at the moment I'm going through a process that I don't know where the journey's going to end, but it's with a company called Advancing X, and they're currently running a competition to find the next group of career astronauts. And I get to go to California in September to keep going through the list of challenges, so fingers crossed.
Wow.
I don't know where it's going to end, but hopefully it's going to end with you guys getting to shoot me off the planet.
It's not often that I'm speechless, but I'm feeling a little speechless. How many candidates did they start with?
They started out with 18,500 applicants.
Just a few?
Just a few, and they're amazing.
And how far has that 18,500 been whittled down? Where are you at?
I think it's down to the final 100. The applications are still open, so if anyone out there wants to join, you can look up Advancing X. And they're really great. They're going into the schools and actually teaching, getting kids into science, technology, engineering, maths, and telling them that there's nothing wrong with saying, when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut. It's 2019, for goodness sake. You can be anything you want to be.
Absolutely.
So, fingers crossed.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That is really super exciting.
It's very exciting. I have no words for it. It's just the most fantastic process I've ever taken part in. And I think it's great. You can't raise your kids and say you can be anything you want to be unless you put your money where your mouth is. And so for me, my husband and my son are so encouraging and so supportive. And as long as my husband tells me, as long as I don't want him to climb the mountain with me or to come into space with me, he's very encouraging to go and do it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Sally, I have had the best time.
Me too.
Talking with you today. Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of our Barre Talk series. You are a delight. You are an inspiration. Thank you for being part of Elancé, part of our community, and all the best. What a year ahead you have.
Thanks, Ms. Di.
Thanks. You had to get one Ms. Di in, didn't you? Thanks so much.